I think one of the common challenges that we all face with DIY investing is trying to get a handle on a company's results between the period when the company ends its financial year and the results are announced. So one of the things that I like to do, and I'm going to use Serabi Gold as a demonstration of this today, is to take the latest available data. In the case of Serabi, we're quite lucky because we have third quarter results that we can use, and then we just got to estimate the fourth quarter results, which if you've gone past the year end, you will almost certainly have production figures for the fourth quarter, or in some cases it'll be for the second half. If we can get that information and then use AI to have a bash at working out the fourth quarter results, then I think we're putting ourselves one step ahead of the average investor that either isn't quite sure how to do it or perhaps can't be bothered, content to wait on the results to come out. Let's go ahead and look at the source data, because you need to prepare the data in the right format. So using Serabi Gold as an example, what I've done is I've got the data from Share Scope, and in this case the latest set of results is third quarter, and that's till the end of September 2020. And their financial year ends at the end of December. And you can see there's a forecast there of the results. So that's the income statement. And we can do the same for the balance sheet, which is here. And you can see that there were net cash at the end of the third quarter of 14 million. If we then pull up the cash flow statement, you'll be able to get various pieces of information like the net profit, the net cash from operations, and the net change in cash. Further down, you've got the opening balance and then closing balance for the third quarter. You can see it went from 11.6 million to 20 million, beginning to the end of the third quarter. We can then have a stab at working out the end of year position. So that's the three parts of the statutory accounts: the income statement, the balance sheet, and the cash flow statement. And of course, the other thing we need is the fourth quarter production. And of course, we've got that here, released on 15th of January. We've got the quarter by quarter production here. You can see gold production across the top, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 in the heavy type here, with a full year figure given as well. And then for reference, you've got the 23 figures on the right-hand side. That's the basic information that we need, but there's one thing missing, which is the gold price. And what I've got here is a PDF of a chart representing the gold price, and you can see I've marked the different quarters on it up to the end of 2024. And you can see the gold price is higher even now than it was in the fourth quarter. Just a visual glance shows you that the price they're receiving for their gold has been improving quarter by quarter. So we need to put all this together and work out what the likely outcome is. That's stage one. And then we've got to take that data and load that into our large language model of choice, and that'll be part two. So let's move on to the next stage. And having got the images of the information that we want to use to carry out the calculations for Q4 turnover, profit, and so on, I'm going to use LM. I'm going to create a new notebook. So we click New Notebook. Before I load the sources, I like to actually escape out of that screen and put a title in, because it's very easy to forget that. And I like to start my notebook titles with the date, because it makes it easier to find them if you do more than one notebook on, say, the same company. And I'm then like to follow it by the epic code and then some indication about the subject. So I'm going to put Q4 estimated results. That's the title put in. And then we can click in the middle to upload source. And you'll recall that we can upload PDFs in the middle, or anything from Google Docs or Google Slides from Google Drive, or put in a YouTube or website link. And of course, we can copy and paste text in as well. So in this case, I've prepared PDF. So I'll head off to my source and look for those items to load. You can see I've actually got 8 resources in there. One of them is actually a report that I've prepared using a different LLM. So I'm going to ignore that one and load the 7 here, which are the raw data for Serabi Gold. While that's uploading, Just remind you that you've got the sources panel on the left, you've got the chat panel in the middle, and we've got the right-hand panel with some notes that get saved and some buttons that give you standard notes. First thing I like to do when I generate a file is, again, just pop the date on the front. Then it's asking questions about the business and operations, expected output, and what were Serabi Gold's Q4 gold production figures and how do they compare to previous periods. That's a particularly good question because that's the essence of this instance of the use of NotebookLM. It's giving you the answer there, but that's only part of the answer we want. Financial forecasts, how does it finance its operations, recent gold prices, all good stuff. We can convert that to a source. And then what I'm going to do is add a prompt in here to create a detailed report for Q4. Now, before we do that, remind you that up at the top, we've got the slide bars here. If we click there, it enables us to configure the notebook. We're analysing stocks, so I want to use analyst. If I was doing something else, I might want to use a guide or create a custom conversational style. And I want a longer report because I want a lot of detail in this. So we'll click save. Then we go away and pick up the prompt, drop that in here for the prompt. And it says, please provide a very detailed report suitable for a report to investors based on the sources provided. Please include an index at the front, bold section headings, detailed summary and conclusion. Include Q4 production, average gold price and turnover, and overall estimate for full year 2024, giving turnover, profit before tax, net profit, net cash or debt, operating cash flow and free cash flow. I think I'm going to add in there plus EPS. Let's just see. I need to keep that under 500 characters on NotebookLM, and I think I've managed to do that. It's taken it away and it's produced the report very quickly, and it's not giving me a table of results. Right, I want to please elaborate and include a table showing columns for Q3, and that'll be actual, plus Q4, and that's an estimate, plus full year, that's obviously going to be an estimate as well. Let's see what it does with that, because it's not actually giving me an easy summary, which is what I do want. It's giving me some useful information, and there's figures buried in there. You can see there in financial forecast, but I personally like to see a table. This looks a bit more like it. Let's go back and see. So here's an elaboration of the previous report, including a table, and I'll just scroll down to the table, which is here. Well, it's got that information. It hasn't looked for it. It has got that information. I'm going to point it in the direction of that. You have the information for results within the PDFs. That's quite surprising. Normally it picks up the information. So I've told it to go away and find the information in what I've uploaded. Let's just go back. Based on source documents, here's elaborated report, but it's missing that. That's not very impressive. Cash flow indicates net cash, which it does. And if I hover over the button which gives you the source, it shows the PDF, and you can see from the PDF that those figures are in that row. I'm going to put please extract the figures from the PDFs provided and populate the table within the report and print. Let's see if it'll do it. This should be easy for it to do. It's pulled in the turnover, profit before tax, net profit, and EPS. It has pulled that in. Let's go back, compare that with the previous one, which it didn't have it in, but it's still not impressive, is it, for NotebookLM in this instance. Now, please add your estimate for Q4 and the estimate for full year 2024 into the table. It's like pulling teeth. This is not impressive. I'll be open and honest with you. This is a surprise to me. Now it's added some figures in. It's giving Q3 actual. That should be cumulative to Q3. And that's, again, isn't giving me what I want. Fine, it's telling me it's well positioned for growth, giving me its turnover projected to increase by 51% in 25 and so on. It's giving me lots of useful information, but it's not giving me what I want. I am disappointed in this, and I'm going to I'm actually going to bring this to a halt here because I want to double check whether or not I have missed something in the settings. This is not impressive, and NotebookLM has normally been very reliable, one of my go-to models. Clearly something not quite right here, or the performance has gone downhill. I'm going to bring that experiment to a halt here. It wasn't particularly a success, and as I say, it was unusual. I usually had very good results with NotebookLM. I'm going to try again using Gemini 2.0 Flash Experimental. I'll put that up as a separate video. We'll see how we get on there. Bye for now.